Hey guys, welcome to a YouTube exclusive bonus episode of a Bite-Sized Book of Mormon, I guess. This is specifically to celebrate the 100th episode of this podcast, which is actually, it was Alma 4 was the 100th episode. So happy birthday to the podcast. It's actually already been a year since it started, because it started on May 6th, 2024. And it is now after that, but I missed a few weeks throughout the past year, so the 100th episode landed a little bit after the year mark. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun making this podcast, and what I wanted to do for the bonus is, on my desktop, I have clips of my podcast in a folder titled Book of Mormon Outtakes, because they're just stupid stuff that I say between sentences that I cut out, or sometimes there's stuff that I leave in that I just think is really funny. So we're gonna listen through, I'm gonna add some context to some of these, and we're just gonna have a good time. Anyways, I'm kidding. Yeah. Yep, that's all I need to know about that one. I think I was like readjusting or whatever, because I record on my bed. You know, I have my microphone set up on like a boom arm, but I'm just chilling out on my bed when I record. And so sometimes you gotta readjust, you know? And sometimes that one is titled An Ungodly Grunt. And the next one is called Chapter 25. We're gonna read chapter 25 today. Aren't you excited? You can hear me laughing at myself, because that is my existence. I crack myself up all the time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I often actually talk a little bit before I start officially recording the podcast. I just like start the mic, make sure it's the right one, etc., and just like talk for a little bit, and then I start going like, hey guys, it's Ellie, welcome back to, and sometimes I say stupid things, which is what most of these are. So the next one is titled Commenting About Mom. This is one of the oldest ones, actually. And then we'll get into the verses of the chapter once again. So yeah, gird your loins, and without any further ado, I think we read 2 Nephi chapter 13. The gird your loins is just for Mom, so she'll text me about it, and I think it's hilarious that I know when she's listened. So yeah, my mom is an avid listener. Hi Mom, how you doing? She always lets me know when she's listened to the podcast. She's a distance runner, so she listens to it when she runs. And it's the best. The reference to gird your loins in relation to my mom and why she would think it is specifically funny is because when I was finishing up high school, we went on a London trip, or we went on a Europe trip that included London and a bit of Ireland, etc. And there was one tour that we took of like some noble's mansion in, I think, like Wales or something. I can't remember where. And the guide for our tour was the funniest, like, just default old British guy who was just hilarious. Just envision a British guy, it was him. And there was like a bunch of steps at one point in the tour, and so he was like, gird your loins, there's like 70 steps coming up. And so now we still talk about that, about how someone just said gird your loins in like normal conversation. It was really funny. I think my mom did actually text me about that, because she was like, Ellie, that was so funny. Oh man. Anyways, the next one is called Double Digits, baby. But yeah, I think without further ado, we start Mosiah chapter 10. We're in double digits, baby! Let's go! Double digits! Oh, double digits! See, what makes that funny is because I record in my apartment. I have 5 roommates because it's a college apartment, and so I can never really be that loud. Like, I laugh, I talk loud, but I don't, like, yell. And so when I was, like, pretending to yell, it's just, like, really quiet. Because I'm like, oh, I don't want to bug people. Yeah, anyways, the next one is called Get Thrusted, lol. For they shall be thrust down to hell. Get thrusted. See, the best part of these is just the fact that I just laugh at myself every single time I make a stupid joke. Like, I never just let it lie. I have to laugh at it because it's so dumb. As I'm doing right now. And so, anyways, I thought that was funny. I think I actually showed that one to my roommate because it was so stupid. Let's see, the next one is called I Frickin' Love Abinadi, Bro. I'm so jazzed. I frickin' love Abinadi, bro. I don't think you understand. Huh. See, once again, this is the pre-recording ramblings of a crazed Ellie. Especially when I go, huh. Oh man, the noises that I make. And it's funny because like in the recording thing that I use Audacity, you can like see the waveforms as I'm recording. and so I can see like the little huh and how it looks. Oh man, it's so dumb. Anyways, I'm having a good time. The next one is called Ignominious. And there he suffered an ignominious death. I didn't pronounce that right first try. Dang. See, sometimes there are sentences in the Book of Mormon that are so hard to read, and whenever I get it first try, sometimes I kind of blow myself away. Like, each episode is approximately 8 to 10 minutes longer unedited than it is edited. And so, for example, my Alma 5 that I just recently did, it was 40 minutes unedited, and then I believe it edited down to like 31 or 32 minutes. So I had a lot of audio. And a lot of it is just cutting out me trying to say a sentence and failing, because there are some sentences in the Book of Mormon that are just so confusing. Like, a lot of them I can read first try, but there are some that are just real strange. And this one is an example of like one of the weird words, like ignominious. I said that right first try? What? Oh man. The next one's called Leprechaun. So if you want your own digital version and you don't have a different copy that you have access to, go ahead and click those. I promise it will spawn a leprechaun. I'm just kidding. It won't. But, I mean, what if it did? Hear me out. Anyways, so I do record the intro and outro every time I record an episode. Like, I don't have, like, a file that I just stick in the beginning and end of an episode. I, like, say it every single time I record, which I think you can really tell just because I make it stupid in a different way every single time. Like, I generally say the same thing, but oftentimes it's, like, a little bit different, or like I throw in like a stupid little joke. And this is actually one that I think is in an episode. I don't think this is an actual outtake. I think I just left it in, and I just clipped it because I thought it was hilarious, because it is. I'm funny. Can't you tell? Because I'm laughing so much, obviously. See, the next one is called Mosiah 3. We're on Mosiah 3. I just like how I do it twice, and I have to like one up myself. I go, you know, you gotta go higher. See, I'm telling you, I make weird noises before I record, and so I hope every time you listen to an episode, not only are you enjoying the actual episode itself, but also you're just imagining me behind the scenes acting like a middle schooler, making stupid noises in between sentences, etc., etc. Because this is what it is truly like behind the scenes. Let's see. The next one is actually one that I still reference with my roommate, because I showed it to her when I was editing, and she also thought it was hilarious. It's called Peepin' Lol. I think this one is also in an episode. I don't think I cut this one out. And unto wizards that peep and mutter, should not a people seek unto their God for the living to hear from the dead? Again, with the wizards that peep and mutter. That is hilarious. I'm just imagining like little like video game style cartoony wizards where you can't even like see their face because their hat is so big, and they're just like rubbing their hands together and their shoulders are all hunched and they're just like, you know? It's, oh my goodness, this image in my head is so funny. And their eyes are just like cartoonishly popping out and you can't see the rest of their face. That is the image. I'm trying to explain it to you. That is the image that I have in my head. And, like, I know that it's talking about, like, priestcrafts and, like, quote-unquote, you know, magic, things that aren't of God, but, man, that's just funny. See, part of what I consider the draw of this podcast is that I let myself get goofy. Like, there's some weird stuff in the Book of Mormon, and sometimes it's just good to laugh at it. And I know this is quoting Isaiah, actually. I don't know specifically what Isaiah chapter it was quoting, but you could tell I had a really specific image in my head that I was trying to convey. And actually, the thing that I referenced with my roommate is actually later in the same episode, where I just go, what are they doing? Oh, they're peeping. Like, that still cracks me up. I think my roommate literally brought that up, like, yesterday. Oh, man. I definitely kept that one in, because I just thought it was so funny. Because I have, like, such a specific image in my head. Like, I'm thinking, like, Shy Guy from Mario, but, like, without the mask and just, like, a big old wizard hat on, you know? You know what I'm saying? They're peeping. See, the next one's called Piece of Bread. I'm so hungry. My breakfast was a piece of bread. Once again, an example of me starting to record. You know, you can hear me kind of reshuffling myself and getting settled. And me just laughing at my own jokes. Like, this is definitely a pattern in these. That's just how I am. Yeah, I actually remember that. I definitely just had a piece of white bread for breakfast. I usually don't have a huge breakfast. I'm definitely a dinner leftovers for breakfast kind of person. I'm really not a breakfast food kind of person. And so if I don't have any leftovers, I just like don't really have a great breakfast sometimes, or just I have like chocolate milk or something. And so that was one of the days where I didn't have leftovers, and so I had to like make do. Oh man. Let's see, the next one is called Press It. I think this is another one that was actually was not an outtake. This is actually, I think, still in an episode. So if you do not have your own copy, click one of those. I dare you. I'm looking at you. Press it. The link, I mean. Anyways, reading the Book of Mormon is a very good and holy use of your time, I might even say. Oh, I actually did leave this in the episode, but you can tell that it's the unedited version because the pauses are so long. Like, the thing about this podcast is I don't prep, really, besides, like, saying a prayer and, like, reading the chapter heading. I just, like, riff it completely. And so, like, when I'm sometimes saying comments and I'm, like, actively thinking and figuring out what I'm trying to say as I'm saying it, there's so many pauses throughout all my sentences. And so I feel like you can tell sometimes, I have to, like, squish those pauses down so it's not, like, really dragging. But that was one of the examples where I was just like, press it. I dare you. You know, I just let the pauses hang there. Oh my goodness. I think it's funnier with longer pauses, but I edited it shorter in the real version so that it wasn't super boring. But anyways, there we are. The next one is titled Snow Swooning. It started snowing when I was recording, and I can't see because I'm facing away from the window, but like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Well, it's like that like wet rain snow because it's 37 outside. It's actively getting colder. Actually, earlier it was 40, but it's not snow. It's not. But it looks like snow until it hits the ground. So there you go. Yeah, see, the thing about me is I'm from California. I'm Southern California too, so I'm used to 70 and sunny all the time. And I am in the camp that, as opposed to like, you know, loving 70 and sunny, I am bored by it. I like yearn for more interesting weather. And so whenever it rains or snows, I get like so excited. Because I just I think it's beautiful and I think it's so nice. And when I record, my window is behind me. And so if I'm recording for like an hour, because I record 2 episodes in a row, I don't look behind me for an hour sometimes. And it was pretty chilly that day. And I just remember looking back and like my jaw dropped and I was like, oh, it's so snowy outside. Oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Yeah. Again, if you know me, this is very unsurprising. But if you don't, there you go. Now you know that I just fall over myself whenever it snows. Let's see. This one is called That Was a Good Bye. Ha. Can you tell I titled these files myself? I'll talk to you later. Bye. That was a good one. That was totally good. We love a good patting myself on the back moment. I actually don't usually keep recording for very long after I do my bye. Usually that is like the last thing in the recording and then I hit stop. But every once in a while you can hear. Actually, you know what's really funny is similar to this where I kept recording after the bye. One of the episodes that I did with my grandmother like forever ago, I think last summer or something. It was like one of the older episodes. She thought the little bits that I did at the very end were really funny. And so when I did my bye, you can hear her laughing like as I'm doing it. And I kept it in because I thought it was really funny that my grandma was laughing at me. Anyways, it was so if you find those, I think it's the first one. Maybe it's both, but it's the first one that we did together. Where she laughs at my little bye, which I just think is hilarious. So, yeah. Let's see. The next one is called The Rings and the Nose Jewels. This one I believe is actually in an episode, and I think the episode is titled Nose Jewels because this bit made me laugh so much that I titled the episode that. And also, complete side note, this is unrelated, but I was reading this chapter with my roommate the other day, and I was like, you know what? My favorite verse in the whole Book of Mormon is 2 Nephi 13, verse 21. And I would love to tell it to someone and then just make them look it up. And then what they will read is the rings and the nose jewels. Like, wow. What a profound verse. Obviously, yes, like I mentioned, there's a point to it. But just like in isolation, it's kind of hilarious. Anyways. Yeah, you can definitely hear the self-laughing. I keep like cutting myself off. I just keep laughing, which is like the funniest thing in the entire world. It's like funnier that I'm laughing at myself the whole time than the actual joke is. I remember when my roommate and I made that joke, we were falling over ourselves laughing. And it was at like so late at night because we read scriptures together super late sometimes. And so I feel like my roommates who like are in the room next to us were annoyed, but it's okay because it was funny. Anyways, yeah, I remember that one specifically. I'm pretty sure that is in an episode. Let's see. There's 2 more. So this second to last one is called What's Next, Barbie Girl? I'm just so excited to start reading these. I'll probably slam one of these out in a day. So 2 of them are Nero Wolfe mysteries, and the third one is Tecumseh Fox. Nero Wolfe and Tecumseh Fox. Which name is cooler? Honestly, come on. Nero Wolfe and Tecumseh? And apparently, my dear Rex Stout likes animal last names because he got Wolf and Fox. What's next? Barbie Girl? What am I saying? What was that? I was talking about animals and my brain went to Barbie Girl. What am I on? Oh my gosh. Anyways, jeez. See, that was one of the longer clips where I was just chatting my own ear off before I started recording, because I'm sitting in a room alone and I'm just talking to myself. And so the context for this is I live in Provo because I'm a BYU student, and so I'd been going to Pioneer Book with a friend of mine. And I have, I'm a big fan of old mysteries, and I actually had a podcast in high school that's actually still live. It's called Classic Mysteries. If you want to go hear a younger Ellie, and a worse edited podcast, you can go listen. But yeah, so I had a love for classic old mystery books, and so I bought a few, and this guy, I bought 3 books by him from the bookstore. His name is Rex Stout, and I actually knew him because his character Nero Wolfe later got turned into a radio show, a detective radio show in the 40s and 50s, which, for context, little Ellie in middle school almost 100% exclusively listened to old-time detective radio shows. I listened to no music. It was just these detective radio shows. And so I knew about Nero Wolfe and I knew his character. And so I bought a couple of the Nero Wolfe books and just one more Rex Stout book, which is Tecumseh Fox. And you can hear me making fun of the name. And then my brain just went to Barbie Girl somehow. I still, to this day, don't know how that happened. I am so confused. But yeah, so for context, I had a Classic Mysteries podcast in high school. And before that, I was an avid listener of old-time radio detective shows. And again, this was in middle school. So I was 11 and 12 years old when I was listening to these, and they're so funny, and they're all the same. There's the girl sidekick who's either actually in a relationship with the detective, or they're one of those secretaries that they always flirt with. The last one is called Young Lions. It's like a whirlwind. They're roaring like a lion. They shall roar like young lions. They shall roar like young lions, yea. See, if you're wondering why my unedited versus edited audios are so different in length, because I mentioned earlier that I usually cut out 8 to 10 minutes per episode, just of stuff that I don't want to keep in. It's mostly that. It's mostly just me trying to get my mouth to say the words. That one was especially weird, like young lions, you don't think that that's a tongue twister, but apparently for me it was. I just could not say it. And so I think I clipped this and I sent this to some friends. I was like, this is the life of a podcaster who can't read. And I'm kidding, I can read, but sometimes it feels like I can't because, like I said, there's some really weird sentences in the Book of Mormon sometimes. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little bonus episode of Bite Size Book of Mormon. Happy 100 episodes. Here is to 100 more. I'm pretty sure there are 239 chapters in the Book of Mormon, which means we will have 240 or 241 if I do an after episode of this podcast. So we're about not even halfway through. So here's to more Alma. Here's to more Book of Mormon. I hope you have a lovely day. Since this is just on YouTube, you can actually comment. Tell me which one's your favorite one. I don't know. Say something else funny. Make me laugh. Because you know that if I read something funny, I will laugh about it. Because that is just the way that I am. Anyways, subscribe, I don't know, whatever. Goodbye. Wait, no, I have to do a proper goodbye. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Nah, that was good.